Welcome back to Podcast Central with Andrea Giovino and Toby TNT. Today we're going to talk about betrayal, betrayal in the streets, betrayal with thinking you have a best friend. And when you're in the streets, everybody's your best friend when you're making money. When you're making money and things are going great, everybody's your friend. And I think people, from my own experience, are in denial when they are in the streets and things are going great. You know, you're doing all these illegal activities. So you think the guy that's with you and it's right next to you is your brother. But in actuality, it's not. Because when you get arrested, everybody swims and it's either sink or swim. And we all know what happened with John Gotti and Sammy Gravano. Toby, sink or swim.
Well, obviously,
I mean, we know
Sammy, swam and he started singing. So
it's singing, right?
It's
but okay. Sammy swam and he started singing, but Sammy, on his point of view, was the feds came to him, and the feds are great at this. They're great at it, and this was 30-something years ago. And imagine the technology they have today. That's why it doesn't pay to be a criminal. They came to him and said, just put yourself in Sammy's position. He's going to have you killed. You know, he's going to, if you don't do this, you're going to do life in prison. But this guy has no loyalty to you. He already, we'll allow you to listen to what he was saying about you. Now, I like John Gotti. You know, I knew John Gotti. I like John Gotti. I didn't really know Sammy in the streets. But I'm trying to go play devil's advocate in that put yourself in Sammy's mindset. And somebody comes to me and makes me listen to a tape that I think this girl, you know, this person I'm doing stuff with is a sister and is very close to me. And then behind my back, she's conspiring to kill me. That's where sink or swim comes in.
Here's the thing. Sammy didn't just put John Gotti away. So Sammy the Bull Gravano did not just put John Gotti away. He put a lot of other people away.
Yes.
He's one of the most high-profile informants in the history of the Mafia.
I agree.
So it was not just John Gotti.
I agree.
John Gotti was the key player that he put away.
I agree. But when you make a deal with the government, it's not on your terms. It's on the government's terms. The government says, I catch you in one lie, the deal is off. That's how they work. The deal will be off. So Sammy had to come clean about his life in general.
So statistically, I don't know if it's a 98 or a 99% conviction rate. When the feds want you and they go after you.
It's 98%.
Okay, they're going to get you. So
yeah.
if the federal government builds a case against you, the odds and the probability that they're going to put you away and convict you
are very good.
98%, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's very good.
I mean, it's most likely you're going to end up going to jail for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Sammy was in that position. You know, his boss, which was John Gotti Sr., was caught on wiretaps, you know, discussing his being displeased with Sammy, and were you going to kill him?
I think they were going to kill him, yeah.
And, you know, forget about John Gotti, take him out of the equation. There was a lot of other people he cooperated against. So he put a lot of people, he pretty much took down the Mafia in that one run, because a lot of people cooperated after Sammy the Bull cooperated. It snowballed.
It kind of like Sammy, I always say Sammy opened the gates.
He did.
And then once Sammy opened the gates, everybody started flowing in. Well, if the underboss could cooperate, then I could cooperate. That's basically what people were saying. If the underboss of a major crime family, the Giovino crime family.
It was the most powerful
family.
Crime family at that point in time.
Exactly.
And Sammy the Bull did open the gates.
He opened the gates
when he cooperated, because a lot of guys cooperated after that.
Now it's like, now, it wasn't like that back then. Even when people cooperate, you look down upon it. Now everybody, they get arrested, they cooperate. It's crazy. So you either got to go out in the streets and do a piece of work by yourself, because you have to worry about who's going to cooperate that's with you. Like, you're hanging out with 2, 3 guys and you all get arrested together. You got to remember, who's ever going to jump on that bus first is going to get the best deal.
Yeah.
Get the best seat on the bus, because but then you have diehard guys like John Gotti, like Mark Ryder, like Angelo Ruggiero or Anthony Rapino, and I can go over all the old timers that did not cooperate. They did not.
There's guys that it's just built into them.
There are people that just cannot do it.
They don't believe in it. I believe Joey Merlino is one of those
Joey
guys.
Merlino is not that way. George Maturano is not that way, and I'm very close to him. A good friend of mine, and they're just not built that way. There are people that just do not have it in them to say, oh, because I got caught, now I'm going to go tell on somebody else.
Here's the thing, and here's the catch, and here's the twister, right? Sometimes it's not always about them. Sometimes the government has a way of getting their family members or their kids.
They get arrested, like what happened with me.
Yeah.
Like my husband, as you know, and my brother were never going to cooperate.
Correct.
Never. They had a very hard time doing it. They would have took their years. They were ready to take the years.
He actually did take his years.
Yes.
And then he got rearrested.
He got rearrested, right. But when the government comes in and arrests a wife or a daughter, that happens. That's where sink or swim comes in. You got to save your family first. They say the family is the family in the street, but when it boils down to it, blood is thicker than water. And it comes down
in most cases. Some of these guys, like John Gotti Sr., he was the boss of the family. In his particular situation, he was a bred gangster, almost like it was brainwashed into him.
He was never going to cooperate.
The tapes are public.
Yes, he was your last.
He was willing to take that, die in prison. He's not going to cooperate.
He's your true gangster. He's a true gangster.
There's guys that are like that.
Yes.
But the reality of it is, and again, this comes from talking to, I like to talk to prosecutors. I like to know the facts on stuff, whatever it may be, whether we're talking about organized crime and the mafia or we're talking about politics or whatever. I like to get into the roots of things and really have an understanding.
Even criminal attorneys are they see it on both ends.
Yeah. So, I've spoken to a criminal attorney, former prosecutor. 9 out of 10 are going to cooperate when they get locked up. Like 9 out of 10. And I'm not referring to mafia hardcore guys. I'm talking average criminals. It's going to be 100% of the time, 90 to 100% of the time, 9 out of 10.
I don't know if I'm going to agree with that, because I've had people on my show here that I've sat with that would never cooperate and look down upon it.
Well, I said 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
it depends on, it depends
and they keep their clique small. Not that they're doing anything illegal, but they just took their years, a lot of years, and never cooperated. And diehard street guys changed their lives around. I'm talking, did a lot of prison time and wouldn't think about it, wouldn't even think about it. So you do have that percentage of men, and they call them men's men, which was Mark Ryder was a man's man. John Gotti was a man's man. A lot of them are true men where they don't even have it in them, the ability to go and sit to cooperate. My situation was unfortunate because the government knew what they were doing. When I was arrested, I had all small little kids. So, John Fogarty would have never cooperated. No.
Sammy the Bull, they knew how to twist Sammy the Bull to get him to cooperate.
Of course.
He probably wouldn't have cooperated, but I believe they knew how to take him, twist him, turn him, manipulate him.
Yeah, these are intelligent people.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I always say you're never going to outsmart the guy that goes to school and goes to college and gets his degree, which are these federal agents that are trained to infiltrate and take down these types of personalities. Even when they go undercover and they go in and, you don't know you're hanging out with an undercover agent, for instance. They know how to do that psychologically. And like you're saying, how to get Sammy to flip and what they did for him to flip. So the basis of the show today, ladies and gentlemen, most of my viewers are gentlemen, is there's no loyalty in the streets. There's just not. You could say that
There's very minimal.
Very
you shouldn't
minimal,
say there's none.
but
There's very minimal.
very minimal.
There are certain guys out there that are what are referred to as stand-up guys that are loyal. But the reality of it is, when it comes down to it, and the government comes in and they lock up whatever 50 people, 100 people. Out of that 100 people, it now becomes dog eat dog. Who's going to eat first? Because we take away your food, we take away your family, we take away your finances. What are you going to do? And that's essentially what ends up happening. Now they take them and then they put them in a cage. Okay? And they put them in a cage with a threat for many, many years, whether it be, several years or a life sentence.
Look at George Martorano, 33 years.
For marijuana.
I mean, he's a perfect example. The guy never flipped, never turned. Couldn't live with himself. Joey Merlino couldn't, just wouldn't do it, looks down upon it.
Yeah.
They're not built that way because they have the mindset. And I have friends, and because I don't judge. I'm not judging anyone. I don't want to judge anyone.
It's not about judging. It's just, what's the reality of this life? And I always, I say this all the time, crime doesn't pay.
It doesn't pay.
It just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, find God. That's what I say.
Try to be.
We've seen it over and over and over again so many times with so many people close to us. You can't even imagine that it's, dead or in prison. If you don't end up dead or in prison, you usually ending up with some type of heartache due to the poor choices of organized crime in some way, shape, or form. It's just, and again, it's just repetitively over and over and over again, like we've seen this.
Yeah, but I feel that everyone is good at something. They have some kind of talent. Whether it be with their hands and whether they can, go to work or go back to school in a trade school, whether it's plumbing, electrical, maybe make pizzas, whatever it is, you can learn how to make a living in this country. Foreigners come here and don't even speak our language and they can survive. Point being is that it's fast money. It's fast money, which is enticing. It's good money. And they get blindsided.
But it's not just that, too. So I agree with that 100%. A lot of these guys also end up growing up into it, or around it, as yourself did. I mean, you basically grew up in a criminal family.
Oh yeah.
As did I to some degree.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just fortunately, things shifted and changed. But you grow up in and around this. That's everybody is a criminal.
But that's what you think is normal.
That's what you think is normal.
You don't know any better, and no criminal. I want the audience to understand this. No criminal ever thinks they're getting caught. It's an arrogance about them. Believe me, I know. It's an arrogance, including myself. You never think you're getting caught, ever. You think like you still have that run in you. People could come to you and talk to you and, continuously say, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. They don't hear it because they don't think that.
They're blinded by what's right in front of them. What's right in front of them is an easy way to make money, a quick fix to their current problem.
Right.
And, they let that,
blind them
and make very poor choices in life, essentially, is what ends up happening.
And when you get to a position where you have to, it's either sink or swim, it's a horrible position to be in because now it's not only you're facing prison time, you got a rat on your best friend. And that's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Not only do you got a rat on your best friend, you're getting thrown into witness protection. So now you're not going to be in regular population where your family could come. If your wife and you have kids don't choose to go into witness protection like I didn't. I wasn't choosing to do that. I couldn't do that because I would have lost custody of your brother, John, because his father had half custody. I couldn't do it. They lose everything. So either way, it's not good. Even if they do cooperate, they're still going to prison. Even though John Fogarty cooperated, the guy still did 8 years. He didn't have a sweet deal. He probably would have, if he would have went to trial or would have took the plea out, he would have done less time. By cooperating to get me off, he got more time. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah. No, I do.
He got more time for that. So it's never a good outcome.
The government has a way of going in.
It's never a good outcome.
And
stripping you.
Yes.
From your dignity, your pride. You're not a tough guy no more. You might have been a tough guy on the street. You might have been a tough guy in prison. Your first bid, but you're not a tough guy no more. We got you, and we got you by the balls. And you're going to do it. And you're going to do what we say. And we're the boss of you now. So that's how it works.
Even when you start out with the betrayal, right? You started out with, Sammy the Bull ratting on John Gotti. The betrayal too, though, Gotti could have gave an order to somebody to kill their best friend. And it's their best friend that's basically betraying them as a friend. So
yes.
In other words, Sammy the Bull could have been getting killed by one of his best friends or closest confidants.
And Sammy the Bull killed some of his best friends.
That's the reality.
He killed his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So the reality of it, of the street life, people, Hollywood makes it, TV makes it with all these shows that we've done in other podcasts with films, Sopranos, all these movies that were out. It's glamorized. It's really not glamorized when, the feds come for you and you're facing prison time. And not only you're facing prison time, and in some cases, you might have to rat on a family member.
Yeah. Or some family members screaming and crying because their husband, their father, their son, their brother is missing.
Look at what happened with Renee Graziano with her husband. Her husband cooperated on his father-in-law. His son's grandfather.
Yeah.
He put in jail. I mean, and look at what it did to that family. Look, it did to her. It destroyed her. It destroyed the kid. I mean, there's some horrible things that happen. People don't realize that. These young people don't realize that it's not a good life because your own family member can flip on you and turn you in. You really don't know. And I say betrayal, sink or swim. And the best thing is not to be a criminal.
That's the reality of it at the end of the day. But still, we got plenty of criminals on the streets. We got plenty of gangs on the streets. And, at the end of the day, the reality of it is most of them are all ratting on one another when they get caught.
That's why I said they don't really have a best friend on the street. It's not your best friend because you think it's your best friend when everything is going good.
Yeah.
But it's really not your best friend because when push comes to shove, that best friend is going to flip on you. Yeah. You just don't know which one is going to make it sooner because the feds come right in the minute they take you in the room. They come right in and that's it. I didn't have to. I always say that. People say I never had to rat. I never had to do it because my husband and my brother did it.
The feds will come in and they'll kick your ass. They'll knock
that's exactly what they're going to do. And it could be a small little 5'7", 5'8" nerdy kid, and he's going to wrap rings around you. And that's basically it. And he's going to have a mouth that he knows what he's talking about. And,
it's not just a mouth. It's technology.
It's technology.
It's technology. It's a team. They infiltrate you with a ton of money. If they want you, they put a ton of money and a ton of resources into getting you.
100%.
If you got murders on your back,
forget it. You're targeted.
It's a target.
They targeted. They wanted John Gotti and they got him.
Absolutely.
They didn't care too much about. They wanted John Gotti. He was the head of the family.
He was a hard guy to get to back then because they didn't have the technology that they have now, and he was very cautious.
Right.
He was somebody that was careful. He might have been flamboyant and the dapper
He was a true
that,
mob guy.
But in terms of getting caught, he was careful of what he did.
Yes, yes, yes. So we will close out with that. Stay tuned for the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Press that subscribe button. Thank you, Jesus. We'll see you next time.
Stay out of trouble. God bless.
Bye-bye.